And now to a story that we want to bring you that's a much more serious topic. This is a story of hope and heartbreak tied to last December's shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. In a moment, we're going to talk to a woman who lost her 6-year-old son. But first, that tragic day and her boy's heroic last moments. On December 14th, 2012, hell came to the tiny hamlet of Newtown, Connecticut.
Teachers told us to go in the corner.
A lone gunman, 20-year-old Adam Lanza, shot his way into Sandy Hook Elementary, killing Principal Dawn Hochsprung and school psychologist Mary Sherlock, who ran toward the sound of gunfire. He then turned toward the first-grade classrooms, killing teacher Lauren Rousseau and all but one of her students. In Victoria Soto's classroom, the students hid in a corner, holding hands, except for 6-year-old Jesse McCord-Lewis, who had stayed by his teacher's side. When Lanza entered the room, he shot and killed Soto, but then his gun jammed. Law enforcement officials would later tell Jesse's mother it was in that moment that Jesse yelled for his classmates to run. 6 managed to escape before Lanza reloaded and shot and killed Jesse. As the 1-year anniversary nears, Newtown is trying to heal. On Friday, demolition began on Sandy Hook Elementary, with a new school set to open in 2016. A community trying to move forward, but never forgetting. And Jesse's mom, Scarlett Lewis, is with us now. She's written a new book. It's called Nurturing Healing Love, A Mother's Journey of Hope and Forgiveness. Scarlett, it's nice to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
I read large sections of this book last night, and boy, I was so moved by it. Some things jumped out at me. For example, on the day Jesse was born, you had, is premonition the right word, do you think?
I guess in hindsight, it was.
That
yeah.
You didn't think he was going to be on this earth, or you worried that he wouldn't be on this earth for a long time?
Well, I said a prayer every day since the day he was born, that I knew that he was a gift, and I knew that he could be taken from me, and please don't. So I don't think that I was aware that it was a premonition then, But
if you're thinking that every day and you're saying that prayer every night, how do you live your life? How do you ever let your child out of your sight if that's constantly in the back of your mind?
You know, it wasn't really in the back of my mind. It was just a prayer that I said. I didn't give it any thought, and we just had a great life. We were constantly on the go.
The last time you saw Jesse was the day before the shooting, and about that morning you write this: "My last morning with Jesse began like so many others. I woke him up with a song, kissed him until he giggled, and we wrestled until time tore us apart." How did you hear about the shooting?
I was at work, and one of my coworkers instant messaged me and said that there was a shooting at a school in Newtown.
And you ended up as one of those parents at that firehouse.
I did.
That we talked about so often in the days after that shooting, and hours passed before you were given actual official news that Jesse was gone. It came from a doctor, I think. Mm-hmm. And you write about that. "I stared at him and said nothing. I couldn't. At that moment, I couldn't feel, I couldn't move, I couldn't cry. Not until JT, another son, began sobbing, and I threw my arms around him and hugged him as hard as I could." You learned some things in the following days about what Jesse did in that classroom. Tell me about those.
Yeah, we learned that the story changed a little bit over the ensuing months per the investigation, but ultimately we learned that Jesse used his last moments on earth to call out to his friends and yelled to them to run, and they ran because of what he said, and he saved their life.
You tell a story in the book that Jesse used to love to go on patrol at the farm. He would go outside and protect the property. And you get the feeling almost that that's what he was doing in that classroom that day.
I do. I knew, well, when I was waiting at the firehouse and it was looking like he wasn't coming back, I knew that he had done something brave. So I wasn't surprised.
And as a mom, you naturally feel pride about that. But as a mom, don't you also wish he had run?
Absolutely. I do.
So how do you come to terms with that?
I believe that Jesse was put on this earth to do what he did. And I believe that he fulfilled his purpose, and I'm proud of him. And I believe that he left a message for me, nurturing, healing, love, and I'm trying to fulfill mine.
I need to ask you about the shooter and your feelings and your thoughts toward him. Is there possible forgiveness?
You know, I read a book several years ago by Immaculée Ibengenza called Left to Tell, and in it she forgave the people that murdered her family. And when I read that, I thought, there is absolutely no way I could ever forgive anyone who hurt my family. I would kill them. And then flash forward a couple of years, and you know, I knew that forgiveness was possible, and I guess I've learned that forgiveness is cutting the cord to pain. It's taking your power back, and it's, you know, giving you the ability to move forward without anger yourself. Not forgiving doesn't feel good.
I want to mention that proceeds from this book are going to a foundation you started, the Jesse Lewis Choose Love Foundation. What's the goal? What's the mission of that foundation?
So the mission is to create awareness that choosing love is a choice, and we're going to go in and let kids know that they have control over their thoughts. This whole tragedy began with an angry thought in Adam Lanza's head, and a thought can be changed.
Scarlett Lewis, thank you so much.
Thank you.